Welcome back to Autism at Home, brought to you by us at Early Autism Project Malaysia through our non-profit initiative, The Hope Project. My name is Jochebed Isaacs, and this is the second lesson in our following instructions series, in which we will cover how to teach a child with autism to understand the instruction, "Come here." There are many important reasons any child should understand the instruction, "Come here." Children suddenly dashing off or wandering off is a very common problem that many parents of children with autism face. As parents, you want the reassurance that when you're out in the community, at malls and parks, if you said, "Come here," your child would listen and come back safely by your side. At home, it would certainly be time and energy saving for a busy parent that their children just respond to "come here" to eat their meals, brush their teeth, change their clothes when they're told to, instead of every day having a cat and mouse game. So in this lesson, we will teach first how to get a child to come to you in a natural, play-like context, which we will call "come here play," and then how to teach it in a more structured setting, like coming to the table for learning, which we will call "come here table." We'll explain why both are important in the course of this lesson. So "come here play." This means to get a child to come over to you while you're playing with them. This commonly happens if your child gets distracted or is more interested in their toy than the person, or if you just want to do a really fun play like tickle them or spin them around. The great thing about play is that if you have already committed to building a strong rapport with your child and play regularly with them, your child should already find you motivating. Now here's a snippet of what that looks like. Okay, Eden, come here. Yay! Thank you. I turn you upside down. Ayo, 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 so big. Notice how the adults stretched their arms out wide, sounded really excited, and when the child came, the adult immediately reinforced them with interactive play. This is a child who has practiced "come here" so often with the adult, they don't even need a tangible reinforcement like a toy to motivate them. "Come here play" is such a wonderful way to both teach the instruction "come here" and further strengthen your rapport with your child. So, how do we teach it? Well, here is what you will need. A social story on "come here play," a video model on how this looks like, and 2 to 3 reinforcements for cooperating with the instruction. You can download the free social story and video model in our Autism at Home article or create your own specific to your child. Here is an example of how to break the skill of "come here play" down. We want to consider the further the adult is away from the child, the harder it is for a child to travel that distance successfully to the adult. For children who are not as motivated by the adult yet, they also need another source of motivation for the time being. Hence, we want to increase the distance from the adult, but also whether or not there is a reinforcer that the adult is holding up. By reinforcer here, we mean whatever tangible or physical toy or object you are using. In all cases, we still want to do lots of interactive play with our child for coming over to us, so that the adult becomes the reinforcement. Here's how to teach "come here play." First, read the social story to your child at the start of the play and show them the video model. Second, stand or kneel at the distance you want your child to come from. Hold up the reinforcing item, spread your arms wide, and in a really excited voice say, "Come here." When your child comes over, reinforce them immediately and give them lots of tickles and hugs. Now let's see that as an example.
Check it out. Huggies, come here. Nice coming. Woohoo! Give me a big 5. Yay!
So stretch those arms out wide, put a big smile on your face, and have fun inviting your child to come play with you. "Come here play" can quickly evolve into a game with the whole family, where the child runs from one adult to the other. Once your child understands the instructions "come here," till they're able to come to the adult at least 90% of the time without needing a reinforcer held out, you can start to generalize to other locations. Begin with other natural places in your home, the dining table, to the bathroom for washing up, or getting ready for bedtime. Try to keep the instruction "come here" the same while you are doing this. Finally, when your child is coming over to the adult at least 90% of the time within the home, you can start to practice it in other places. Again, begin with enclosed or highly familiar places like your child's favorite playground or a relative's home. Then try slightly less familiar places like shopping malls or larger parks. Some children will learn the skill of "come here" quicker, while some need it more broken down. You may find yourself needing an items list breaking down locations from easiest to hardest. You may also need to still keep that reinforcer handy before fading it off. On top of that, you may need to practice with other adults in the home, as your child may not listen to everyone the same way. This is why there is no one-size-fits-all program, and every program has to be individualized to a child's needs. Now, let's talk about "come here" to the table. Some of you might be wondering, why teach "come here" table? If a child can come to you and play and all over the house, wouldn't they be able to come right over to the table when told as well? It is true that some of our children learn to come here simply from learning in the natural setting. However, many of our children also find it difficult to learn that way. There are usually more distractions in the environment, and if their attention is lower, it's easier to get sidetracked or run off to something else while coming over to the adult. "Come here" table is way more structured, more distraction-free way to teach children with autism the meaning of the instruction, especially if they find the natural context too hard to start with. So here are some prerequisites your child will need before teaching them how to come here to the table. Namely, it is ideal if your child is able to understand the concept of a visual schedule, so you can communicate to them that table time is coming soon. If your child is able to sit nicely at the table when they're there, that's an added bonus. But if they don't worry. We'll address that in a later lesson in this series on how to actually get a child to sit nicely once they reach the table. So the materials you will need for the "Come Here" table program are similar to that of "Come Here" play. A social story on "Come Here" table, a video model on how this looks like, and again, 2 to 3 reinforcements for cooperating with the instruction. You can download the free social story as well as the video model in our Autism at Home article, or better yet, create your own specific to your child. Following the same principles from "Come Here" play, we are breaking down "Come Here" table down by distance and whether there is a tangible reinforcer. Again, first read the social story to your child about coming to the table, show them the video model. Secondly, stand or kneel beside the chair at the distance you want your child to come from. You may need to gently nudge your child up to the distance they need to start from, be it next to the table or halfway across the room. Hold up the reinforcing item that they can see, and in a really excited voice say, "Come here." When your child comes over to the table, reinforce them immediately with lots of praise. "Good job coming over to the table." Let's look at an example after the social story and video model have been shown.
"Come here." Nice coming to table. That's right. Open it up. Let's build the highest tower.
By using reinforcement the child likes, we pair it with the table and thereby build a positive association with the table. In other words, the child learns going to the table means good things. Now, regardless of whether you're teaching "Come Here" play or "Come Here" table, here are some common mistakes to look out for. Using different words and tones of voices.
"Come here." Come and join me. Why don't you come here? Come.
Up till now, you'll notice the examples have kept to a very clear "come here" where the tone of voice and words are exactly the same. When still teaching Come Here initially, try to keep your tone of voice and words exactly the same only at first. This is because some children find it hard to generalize and understand that come here said in 10 different ways all mean the same thing. When your child can understand come here most of the time, you can start to change up the way you say it. Secondly, fading out the reinforcer too soon. For simplicity, we showed you how a child may need to be able to see the reinforcer first, and then without the reinforcer. Sometimes we fade the reinforcement way too soon. This includes when we start to practice outside play or away from the table. Signs of fading it out too soon is that your child suddenly no longer comes to you the moment you reach the no reinforcer step. Simple solution to this is to break down reinforcement even more. Start with the reinforcement held high, then held a little lower, place on the table, and finally no longer visible. Sometimes you can have the right reinforcement, the right distance, and the right tone of voice, but your child might still not cooperate. When this happens, avoid repeating your instructions several times.
Balkis, come here. Balkis, Balkis, come here. Balkis, come here.
Like come here, come here, come here. Repeating our instructions several times like that teaches a child that it's okay to ignore mom or dad maybe the first 10 times before responding. Instead, try to say your instruction only once and wait about 3 to 5 seconds. If they don't respond, say no, try again in a calm, neutral voice and physically guide them to the table. You can still reward them, but with lesser amount or time with that reinforcer. By saying no, try again, you are not punishing, not scolding the child, but just showing them instructions shouldn't be ignored. Here is what that looks like.
Balkis, come here. No, let's try again. Come here. Very nice try. Okay, we're gonna play a little bit, okay? 1, 2, 3.
This technique is called following through. It is a reactive strategy, and reactive strategies should only make up 10% of your energy. Every time we follow through, we risk creating a negative association with the table, not a positive one. So this is sort of a last resort strategy, not a go-to first strategy. 90% of our energy should be spent on proactive strategies. This means short enough distances, strong reinforcement, plenty of practice at each step, and using the visual schedule and timer to tell them when table time is coming and start to clean up. No child likes to stop suddenly in the middle of play to go to the table. So we've covered both come here play and table at this point. Let's test your knowledge with a pop quiz.
Pop quiz. Chrissy's mother has practiced come here so often at home, Chrissy can listen and come to mom almost all the time at home. They decide to try this skill out at a new shopping mall in their area. When they go there, Chrissy immediately dashes to the colorful kids' playland nearby and ignores her mother's call to come here. Which of the below are ways the skill of come here in the community can be broken down? Familiarity of location, size of location, number of attractions, or all of the above? You're right, all of the above. Chrissy sounds like she did great practicing at home, but that doesn't mean she will automatically do great outside. It can be particularly hard if what's outside is an exciting playland she has never seen before. Chrissy's mom can try smaller, more familiar locations first, or try to go for places with less attractions that could distract Chrissy. Which of the below is not a factor to consider when breaking down the skill of come here? Distance from the adult, who the adult is, strength of the reinforcer, or visibility of the reinforcer? C. Strength of the reinforcer. Try to keep to consistently strong reinforcers to motivate your child to come over instead of inconsistently using reinforcers they either love or really aren't that keen on. However, you can vary the distance from the adult, who the adult teaching is, how visible that reinforcer is, and additionally where you're practicing come here. Now let's watch some come here table scenarios and see if you can spot some common teaching areas. Let's assume the adult has already read the social story and shown the video models in all these examples. Balkis, come here! What was the error? The adult was too far away, the toy was not reinforcing enough, the adult gave the wrong instruction, or they simply didn't sound excited enough. The answer is B. The toy was not reinforcing enough. The child looked somewhat interested at first, but quickly changed courses halfway through. Maybe there was something more interesting. Let's see the next one. Balkis, come here! Come here, Balkis! Balkis, come here! Come here, Balkis! What was the error? The answer is D. Oftentimes when our kiddos don't follow our instruction the first time, we tend to repeat it again and again until they finally listen or we give up. But this teaches the child that it is okay to ignore the adult's instructions. So if they don't listen the first time, say, "No, try again," and prompt them to come over.
Now it's your turn. Start teaching your child come here. First, decide whether you should teach them come here play or come here table. Whatever works best. If you feel your child's attention is still quite low, you can start with come here table first. Develop a plan for how to break down the program. Here are just some of the many ways you can break it down. But remember that every child is different and needs programs broken down differently. Finally, don't forget whether it's come here table or come here play, you are also a reinforcer. So reward your child with plenty of hugs and kisses and cuddles for listening nicely. Thank you so much for watching our lesson on Come Here. In our next lesson, we'll go into how more generic, everyday instructions are taught in natural settings. For example, sit down, stand up, or even give me a hug. The kind of instructions a child is likely to hear all the time, be it at school or when visiting grandma, so stay tuned for that. And as always, if you haven't already, please do check out our free online resource platform, Autism at Home, which has all the corresponding articles and downloadables for you. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, Facebook to stay updated. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you soon.